thank you for watching the forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and we are talking all about cool high school kids today. And I'm here with Shasta High School Robotics creator and coordinator, Brian Grigsby. I knew I was going to mess up on that.
That's okay. That's all right.
Gosh, that's not a hard name. Grigsby. Anyway, and I have it right here.
That's okay. That's all right.
Thank you for coming.
You got it right the last time, so that's good.
The last time,
that's right.
The 5.
That's right. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
So I'm so excited to hear about this program because I know nothing about robotics, but it's a very interesting topic, and I think it's a huge topic. You guys have already been kind of talking about AI and all of that. So tell us a little bit about tell us all about what the robotics program is all about and how it got started.
It started with the fact that we knew that there was a need out there, that kids were excited about robotics, and that's where they live. They live in the technology world, and we thought, why not use that as a vehicle to teach kids engineering principles, science principles, technology, math, all of that. So we created the robotics program, and we wanted to make sure it offered something to kids that they could take beyond what they were just learning in the classroom. So that's really what we've created. It started 5 years ago. It's grown tremendously. The kids get they get another year of lab science, they get computer proficiency, they get elective credit, they get college credit, they get certifications. So we really make sure that what the kids walk away with is something that's usable and something that's helpful.
So 5 years, you're starting to see some results of this,
Absolutely.
I'll bet. So what are some of the kids that have been in your program going on to do?
I had one student, for example, that was hired out of, and he keeps in contact with me, but he was hired right out of college, or even before he graduated college, to be an inspector for the U.S. government for nuclear submarines and nuclear ships.
Oh my God.
And he always comes back to me and says the principles and things I learned in robotics really propelled me and encouraged me and gave me what I needed to be successful in what I'm doing.
Well,
and that's one example.
Wow.
What kids can actually be part of your program? I mean, is this just like a Shasta High specific to only those kids?
Right.
Or?
Well, right now, for at least the high school level, we have Enterprise and Foothill kids that come over and can participate in the program. So we have that. Any kids of any of our grade levels, at least at the high school level, can participate in the robotics club, so they don't have to be in the robotics class. What I'd really like to do is expand this even into a K-16 type of a program.
Amazing.
So we're slowly getting there. If we do it at the right pace, I know it'll be a success.
It's a really unique. And what kind of things are your kids doing as part of the club?
Well, first, one of the things that we're doing, we're working on obviously building robots for competitions, which we have one coming up in November, which is great. We also are building our own satellite, so it's called a TubeSat, and it's a small, I don't know, maybe the size of a coffee can type of a.
For a satellite?
For a satellite.
And how far will that reach?
So the plan is that they're going to launch it in the spring of 2018, and we hope to be able to. It's going to go into low Earth orbit for about 2 to 3 months before it finally burns up in the atmosphere. But the kids are building it. They're doing all the soldering. They're doing all of the programming. So it's incredible that we've got high school kids building a satellite to take temperature readings and magnetometer readings of the low Earth orbit.
That's so fantastic.
High school kids doing this.
That is so fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So how is all this funded? Of course, that's always the big question.
We have a lot of great people that are in the community. We've got some great organizations. Shasta College is a great help. Of course, our own high school district is a huge funder of it. But even we have local businesses that help. So it's truly funded. It's a community thing, which is what something like this needs to be, community organized.
So if we had one of our viewers watching and they thought, "Gosh, I'd love to support this program," what should they do?
They can send any donations or funds if they would like to just to Shasta High School, to the robotics program, and then that helps to continue to build what is truly, I think, a community organization.
And then what if you have someone watching who's like a retired robotics expert, engineer?
They can contact me. I always love to have people that are from the community that have those expertise, because coming from me is one thing, but coming from somebody that's actually there in the trenches doing the actual engineering itself is something that's a huge benefit. So they can contact me at Shasta High School.
Well, I'm going to say that the Society of Women Engineers, I'm challenging them to contact you.
They're part of it.
Okay, they are amazing. I was going to say that's an amazing group.
Yeah, they're a part of it as well.
So I have one last question for you. Is there a code of ethics for your robotics program and what you tell your students about robots and doing the robotics and all of that?
Yeah, I think overall, I think that the ethics that we really need to teach these kids is to be responsible, is to be, globally minded, but really responsible in doing things that are going to benefit the greater good, and not be something that's undermining or subversive, really. And that's really what I hope they walk away with, whether it's robotics, whether it's math, whether it's art, whatever it might be. I think that's really what the underlying foundation needs to be for a lot of this.
So you have how many kids in your program right now, and what grades are they?
So in the classes, I have about 50 to 75 kids in the classes themselves, and then in the robotics program, I've another 25 kids. But then I've got other grade levels for the robotics club, so it's huge. We've got a lot of robo kids running around.
All the way
Shasta.
9th through 12th grade?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're
Absolutely.
interested, if a kid is interested, this is what I'm wondering, because
Sure.
I'm a creative, don't understand. My brain doesn't work
Absolutely.
that way.
Absolutely.
But what if you have someone who says, I don't think my brain works that way, but I'd be interested just to come see what it's all about?
Sure.
Would you, okay.
Yeah, it's something that I think that even regardless of how people's mind works, I think robotics lends itself to all levels. You have to be creative to understand what you want to build. You have to have a mindset, maybe a math mindset or an engineering mindset.
So it's open to all,
Absolutely.
which I love. We love hearing
Absolutely.
the creatives.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some of the actual kids from the robotics program.
Now we're back with some students to talk about the Shasta High Robotics Club, and they're actually in it, and they're going to tell us a little bit about it. So first we have Hannah Bloom, and did I say that right? Hannah Blum.
That's all right.
And Isaac Sorrells. And it's so exciting. You guys are doing some amazing things and taking the initiative to further your education and kind of take this endeavor a little further. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing in the Robotics Club, how you even got interested in it. Tell us about that.
Well, I kind of just found I found an interest in it from right when I moved to Reading. We don't have stuff like this in Reno, so when I saw on the list of clubs, that we have a robotics club, I was like, that sounds really interesting. So I went up to Grigsby one day and I asked if I could join, and he said, yeah.
It was that simple.
So what grade were you when that happened?
I had to wait a year, so I had to join my junior year while I was taking the robotics class.
Okay.
And from there, I've been in it for about 2 years now. So.
Yeah, good. And how about you, Isaac?
I first got interested in the robotics program from my friends mainly because my friend's dad was a really big engineer for industrial companies, and we did another competition called Odyssey of the Mind, and it's kind of like a creative competition involving engineering. So that's how I got interested in it.
Very organic ways of getting into it, but it's like that little spark, and then you're in it. You're like, okay, I want to do this. So did you guys go check it out first, or were you just like full force? I'm going into this.
Full force.
That's what
You knew it. You knew you wanted to be
That's the way to do it.
So what's the best part? What's been your favorite thing in your years involved?
The best part for me is when our robot finally works, because it really is like an iterative process, and you fail a lot, but you have to learn from those failures, and when the robot finally works, nothing feels better, honestly.
What do you think, Isaac?
I really enjoy the teamwork that goes into building the robot. It's really fun getting to involve with all the people at our school building the robots. Yeah.
Because they probably think it's pretty cool after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are the I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We're probably going to ask the same thing. What are the competitions like? When you've been in some robotic competitions?
Very stressful.
Oh yeah.
But it's a good learning experience because you get to see all the other robots out there, and you always learn a lot when you go to the competitions.
And you have to learn how to present yourself to judges, and you have to learn what it's like to function under pressure, even as hundreds of people are watching your competitions. So.
Yeah.
So what are your future plans for both of you? I mean, so you started as a junior, and you started when?
I started as a junior too.
As a junior as well. So what are your plans now? That
You're seniors.
Okay. So
I'd like to go to Berkeley for electrical engineering and computer science. And if they do have a program down there, I would like to continue the robotics program. So.
it's great.
I'm looking at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo for their engineering program because they're pretty good for their mechanical engineering, and they have a lot of available resources, kind of like Shasta High School. They have a lot of mechanical engineering products and such. They have CNC machines and all sorts of things.
And you're prepared for that because you guys are like feeding into that. I think it's fabulous in Shasta County that we have this.
Yeah.
And kids from all over can do it. So I have to ask you, are all the kids like super smart engineering types like you guys? Or are there some more that are like not quite like that? Maybe like the hosts of this show.
There's a place for everybody on the team. Like, it is directed towards more like sciencey and math types, but there's also a very large creative aspect. Like, you have to have the creativity to design the robot, but science and math definitely does help a little bit.
So what do you guys, how much time do you have to put into both the robotics class and the robotics club? I mean, because the club is after school, right? So how much time does that take up from your...
Well, we participated in the class last year, which was 2 periods long. So it was a 2-hour class, but it was really fun. Like, it was a good experience.
Yeah.
And then after school, we do a build every Thursday and Tuesday. From now it's 2:30 to 5, so it's about 5 hours a week, if not more than that, because we have scrimmages and weekend builds too.
Now, what would a scrimmage be?
Scrimmage is just with other schools. We have one coming up with Central Valley next Monday. So
it kind of is like a sport. I know I hate to dumb it down, but it kind of is. I mean,
so that's a sport.
Yeah, so that's kind of your extracurricular activity. Are either of you on different teams or sports or anything? Like, what are your extracurricular activities outside of this?
I'm really involved in music. I'm drum captain of the marching band, and I like to get involved with the musical and the magical dinner that Shasta puts on every year.
That's a lot of time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And what about you, Isaac? What else do you do?
I get involved mainly with robotics and the tube satellite project that we're doing, Project Nightwolf, and then I also I'm part of the tennis team.
Oh,
Shasta.
good. All right, I love it. I love meeting these kids. You guys are like stars, and every time we have local high school kids, we just get blown away by the caliber of how awesome they are. It's a lot. So I think, again, as we're wrapping this up, thank you guys so much for coming.
Of course.
If you're watching and you're thinking, boy, I would really love to support this program, Shasta High School, contact Brian Grigsby, and he will let you know how you can help. So, okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with another group of awesome high school kids in just a minute.
Hi, we're back, and we're continuing our theme of cool high school kids. And today we're going to be speaking with Corning High School. We're going to be talking to the advisor for this program that you guys are going to hear all about. And this is Cindy Dixon, and we're going to talk to one of her students, Michaela Cordray. Yes, okay. That was a successful one.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us what this program is actually called, because it has a specific name.
This is the Japanese Food Summit that the kids went to, and the group called themselves REACH, and she'll have to explain what the acronym for REACH is.
Okay. Way to put you on the spot, huh?
That's okay.
The actual name of your program, though, is don't you do something with international food?
The International Food Summit was what the students went to. They were invited by Nakamura Gakuen School in Fukuoka, Japan.
Nakamura Gakuen School.
Yeah, school.
Okay, and that's a school in Japan that invited Corning High School to
Just send a delegation.
That is amazing.
And it was for this International Food Summit. And when was it?
We went September 1st was the actual food summit that the kids participated in, and they participated with 5 other groups.
Now, is this the first time that happens, or is this a common
This
theme?
is the very first one, and it was such a success that I believe they will be doing it again every year. It takes,
That's fantastic.
And I read somewhere that the Japanese high school is who paid for you guys to come.
Yes,
Oh my
except for me. They didn't pay for me to come, but the kids definitely wanted me to come, and so the kids did some fundraising for my flight.
Aww.
So, Michaela, how did you get involved with this? And tell us about your view of what the program is and why you're part of it and all of that.
Well, I was invited by the leader of our team, and
Is that your best friend?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Keep going.
Pretty much, she got me really involved with it, and it helped my comfort zone expand.
Oh, that's great.
And just this trip in general has been a big help.
So what were, Christy, just jump into.
No, what were some highlights of your time in Japan?
The food. And then going to the high school and meeting all the students that I've known before and seeing them again.
Oh, had they come to Corning?
Yes.
Okay, so it's kind of an exchange program. They're like your sister school.
Yeah, well, they come every March is when they come and spend a couple of weeks with us.
So is it such a specific, program, a unique program, that they're not going to bigger cities or?
They do have groups that go to other countries. They have a group that goes to Malaysia. They have a group that goes to Canada. At the same time a group comes here, they have a group that goes and does an exchange in Canada. And the girls come and actually stay in host family homes here. So they get the whole American value and stuff. And then they individually shadow Corning High School kids. So the Corning High School kids sign up to be a shadow sister and stuff, and they have a blast the whole time they're here. So
what a unique opportunity for our our local kids. That's really
Yeah. And how is their English?
Good, better than my Japanese.
Well, does Corning teach Japanese?
No.
No, okay. So did any of you speak any?
Our leader of the team, Bailey Blue, did speak a little bit.
A little Japanese, okay.
So do you have to be interested in food to join the program, or is it like an open club? How would someone get to be part of this club?
The kids are opening it to everyone when they're trying to get the actual club started at Corning High School, and they're opening to anybody and everybody, community-wise and everything. So they really hope to have a lot of people involved in this.
That's great. So I'm so curious about your time in Japan. Had you ever been out of the country before?
No, I have not.
No, so your passport was brand new, all of that was brand new. What surprised you the most about being in Japan?
The toilets.
Were they squatty potties?
No.
They did have some.
Okay.
They did have some of those there, but no.
Like China is all squatty potties. Yeah. What about the toilets?
They were very robotic and
They were
automatic?
they would sing to you.
They would sing to you?
Yes.
What?
And they're heated and
Can I go to Japan?
They know how to live. Do they clean themselves? That's the question.
Yes, I'll clean
Why do you think, here you're from this small town Corning all the way to Japan. What do you think the biggest advantage of doing this program was for you?
Probably getting out of my comfort zone and having new adventures and spending more time with the teachers and my friends that are involved.
Yeah. So did you think, gosh, people are all the same. We may look different, we may sound different, but at our hearts,
yes.
Yeah.
Everyone was just so close, and we all had fun. We would play games that they didn't know, and that is famous in our school, and we get to show them a bunch of things, and we all get to spend time with each other.
Oh.
And no matter what, even if there was a language barrier, we'd all laugh together.
Oh, I love that. I love laughter, universal.
That's right.
The universal language. Okay, thanks you guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with 2 more kids from the program. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this with you, Cindy, for leading them.
Yes.
Yes, and we'll be right
Fantastic
back.
We are back, and we're speaking with some more Corning High School kids, and we're here with Dakota Boyd and Bailey Ballou. And I'm so lucky because they actually have their names on their shirts, so I don't have to look at my notes. But I'm excited because I actually want to hear in this segment kind of what the competition comprised. What was it comprised of? Like, what was the point? What did you do?
Our competition was mainly focusing on students working together and actually coming up with a solution to the problems that we were all focusing on, which the main thing was eradication of hunger of the world. Okay. And our main idea, what our acronym stands for in REACH, is Resourceful, Environmental, Agricultural Connection of Humans.
I love that you guys just both said that together. For connection of humans at the end. I love it.
Yeah.
So, do you get a different in the food summit? It's all around food, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So then, do you get a different topic each year, or is it always like hunger?
Well, actually,
We had 3 topics to choose from. They were eradication of poverty, then there was
wasteful food consumption.
wasteful food consumption, then keeping traditional food alive.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right.
So you pick the topic you want to make a presentation on.
Yes.
And you did it as a group.
Yes.
And how far ahead did you get the topics?
Well, so we found out about this. Well, I found out about this beforehand from the actual teachers of the school. We found out about this from them when they were actually here in California with the exchange students.
In March?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I was talking to them and I was telling them how interested I would be in to actually go see their school and go to Japan. They're like, oh, well, we have this competition going on and this is the information, and they told me about it and I was super excited. So I talked to some of my friends and we made a team.
And that
Oh my
was the
gosh.
beginning.
Yeah.
And so you picked your topic at that point?
I had to do some research.
Yeah.
So the topic we chose was obviously eradication of poverty and hunger. Obviously, I didn't know what eradication meant, so I wanted to learn as well teach other people at the same time. So
Great. So how many people are on your team?
3.
It's just the 3 of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. That is
And then,
fantastic.
so what was the competition like? Like, where were the other kids coming from and all that?
There were teams from Malaysia, South Korea, Uzbekistan, and then 2 teams from Japan.
Wow. And Corning.
I know. I was gonna say, are you the only US school?
We are the
Yes.
only U.S. school representing the nation.
Yes.
That
Oh
is
my
amazing, you
goodness.
guys.
Yeah.
That's huge.
What was that like, being the only Americans there?
Kind of nerve-wracking, I guess,
Yes.
but it was also kind of surreal.
Yeah.
I liked it because they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're from the U.S. What's it like there? Is there a lot of surfing in California?" Got that question like twice.
That's great. It just shows how people think of the U.S. and us and
Yeah.
our country. And same for how we think of, like now I'm going to think of Japan with toilets.
Yes.
You know? I
that
mean,
sing to you.
yes, and tell you you're cute. I might have to go there just for that.
So were there foods at the summit, or was it all this intellectual discussion? Is it, I mean, I'm trying to get a picture of what the summit really was like.
The summit was food-based in the aspect of the topics of what we were trying to solve, like eradication of poverty and hunger, and then keeping food culture alive, and wasteful food consumption. It wasn't technically culinary based. It was more of just solving problems related to food.
Food and poverty.
Yes.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that people came up with?
Yeah.
Solutions. Like,
Well,
what was your solution?
Our solution was a community garden. That was what our program was highly based on, was bringing people from the community all over and coming together to get rid of all of the, I would say, separation between everyone, and making it so that even if you come from a higher
Socioeconomic.
higher income family and a lower income family, you could still come together and help each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so was your community garden, because I always love this idea. So was your community garden like open to the public? Anyone could go there and take fruit and vegetables, or was it for a specific thing and everybody's
Well,
specific demographic?
Our idea was it would include everybody. Everybody can be involved. You can volunteer your time if you just wanted to volunteer. You wouldn't have to take the foods.
Okay, yeah.
Our main idea, though, was for the people who wanted the food, is for the people who actually needed it.
Yes.
Like the homeless community, or just, like I said, the lower income families who struggle to get food on the table.
Our
No, go.
our dream for this idea is that this would be a program that happens anywhere. You can start a club at your school. It could be an actual community thing. Can start in towns, like literally globally, where not just a way of giving people who need food, but also connecting people on a global scale.
I love that. So ambitious
Yes.
and really, beautiful picture. So I have to ask you though, because we're almost out of time. What was your most interesting thing about Japan, or surprising besides the toilets? What else?
So I would say when I was in the homestay, I did a homestay with a family, and actually the people I stayed with, they stayed with me.
Oh, perfect.
But
yeah.
I received a kimono from one of the students, And while I was with the family, they celebrated my 16th birthday. And they surprised me and took me to a shrine, and I got to wear the kimono at the shrine. So that was my best experience.
Wow.
Impressive experience.
And Dakota, what about you?
For me, it actually connects to what Bailey did for her homestay. Myself, along with two of our chaperones, Mr. Lou Buren and Mrs. Cindy Dixon, we all went to the same shrine that Bailey went to, coincidentally. And we basically accidentally took a hike, but it was like the best experience ever.
Aww. Gorgeous.
That is.
Amazing.
So you both, this is, okay, Chrissy, you can close it out if you need to, but I just want to say that you both really are inspiring to a lot of other kids.
Yes,
just
you are.
from taking the initiative and doing this.
Doing
This is
something
awesome.
from Corning to Japan, it's amazing. Good
With a
job.
global-
Thank you.
And global perspective. Thanks for watching. What a great show we had today, huh? All this excitement going on in the North State. And we'll see you back here next week with another show on the floor.